Hello, everyone. My name is Emiliano Martin. I'm Argentinian. I'm married and have a daughter. I'm software engineer working in Mercado Libre. For the one who don't know, it's a technology company of e-commerce leading in Latin America. And our aims is to democratize commerce and money to have an impact on the region development. I have worked here for 6 years. A new problem in the industry. Within the world of software development, and especially in the area of machine learning, times assigned to analysis, development, and deployment are key to success of an organization. At Mercado Libre, we are not exempt. That's why on Mercado Libre's backend, there are many entities that are consulted by mouse developers from different teams. An example of an entity is item. We call item to the publication that seller makes in our marketplace, and it has a title, price, picture that you can see in front end, a category that lets user find the product, for example. And on this entity that we call item, different business needs arise, and they are solved using machine learning solution. For example, we may need to make a binary classification to determine whether an item is breaking a rule and should be moderated. We may need to make an automatic product classification by category, or we may search for similar items to the fit recommendation. Whether to do classification, regression, or search for close neighbors, all these initiatives have to through a similar feature engineering process in order to generate representations of the item that allows the training of models. So if we have to solve a new problem using the entity item, we need to apply a feature engineering process again, and this means repeated effort across teams. The feature engineering process can take time and is key to model development. Apart from that, not all teams have a machine learning expert or developer with significant experience in a tool or business area. And even if they have, there may be no simple mechanisms from other teams to take advantage of their know-how. To face all these problems is that we propose Feature Store. But what is Feature Store? Shortly, it's a centralized place where teams can consult the feature of an entity. There are several approaches to implement this solution. If we think of feature in the traditional sense, as a characteristic of the entity understood by a human, the feature store could be an API on a database engine that allows extracting specific information. For example, the number of publications visited by some user in the last 10 days. Another option is to think of feature as an intermediate level of abstraction by creating models that generate embeddings like representations that suggest n-dimensional vectors from any entity we are interested in, for example, items or shipment. The meaning of these vectors may not be clear to a human, but they can have interesting and useful properties for a model. For instance, the vector representing items corresponding to the same type of product can be closed in the n-dimensional space, or the vectors that represent payments might be largely grouped so that we can set aside and review those whose representation is far from that group. This allows to find fraudulent transaction. With Mercado Libre, there exist different solutions of feature store. I talk about just one of them. One way of solving this could be by creating service that transform an entity into a vector through API, but we found some drawbacks. Therefore, we opted for the TensorFlow strategy, which comprises a repository or hub of model and API to download them. After downloading, the developer becomes the owner of that object and is totally independent from our hub. Thus, the application that uses it is only dependent of the future store in the training stage. And afterward, it can work in completely self-contained way. So we decided that these models that transform entities into embeddings would be shared in Python libraries with a circular interface. They can be installed with pip and are object with fit and transform methods. This helps their adoption by our machine learning developers, not only to integrate them into scikit-learn pipeline, but also to use in combination with other tools. For example, we have PyTorch models using these representations. We also thought about this, taking into account that we call create version of these models. The same model could be used to represent different data sets, like publication in Spanish, English, or Portuguese. And there can also be models trained with different hyperparameters. For example, to generate vectors of different dimensions. On the slide, you can see an example. Okay, what we achieve by doing this? First, fast MVP. Since the future engineering process is already solved, we only have to concentrate on solving business problems. Thus, you can have an MVP or proof of concept in a few days or even hours. Less duplicated effort, because we allow entity to future transformation to be shared across teams. Widespread expert knowledge. Due to knowledge and expertise of machine learning experts can be available to all teams. Improvement of existing models. Embeddings can be combined with the features of models that are already in production, which can render improved metrics with very little effort. And resource optimization, as reducing redundant work not only saves developer hours, but also model training hours and infrastructure cost. So, to sum up, we are convinced, like other great reference in our industry, that when working on a large scale, it's vital to take a more global look and devise a platform that fosters cooperation among teams and speed up delivery times to production. That's why having a feature store is key to our case goal. Well, that's all. For further information, you can visit the link on screen. See you at the Slack chat. Thank you.